Ryan. First things first. First things first.
Cheers.
All roads, buddy. All roads lead to Abu Dhabi.
Yes, they do.
I don't
Sam,
even know what to think.
the last time we've had a championship decided in Abu Dhabi, I wanted to kill you.
And now, look where you've come. Back to
Hey.
me.
I don't know about that. I have two people I'm rooting for next week, and that is Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen. Lando can fuck off.
Lando, I don't know. I've been really harsh on Lando, and he has this week. The pressure's getting to him. I really think so. We had a crazy Qatar Grand Prix for something that was kind of a snoozer, in my opinion, Ryan, but turned out to be pretty hot in the implications of what happened and how it all happened.
Absolutely. And you know, I didn't expect much to come out of this track, and it really didn't. It's a MotoGP track. It's not made for these cars. That's annoying in itself. But I will say the FIA did their best, and Pirelli, to make this race as interesting as possible, and that was with the pit stop requirements, which was nice. I think it worked better than it did in Monaco. That's for sure.
Because like you said, the FIA implemented this 25 mandatory. After 25 laps, you'd have to pit with these tires. And at first, I was like, I don't really, let the teams make their own gambles. But it has caused an interesting race, which in a track like this would not have been interesting at all. Because do you remember that we had a sprint Grand Prix this weekend? Because I don't.
Huh?
Where?
Yeah, that was boring. Nothing really happened at all.
Let me ask you, what was your heart rate doing? What was your initial reaction as this race unfolded with that very first pit stop happening on lap 7 and seeing?
Well, let me start even earlier with turn one. I was very stressed to begin with, and I thought Lando had a good start, but then Max being Max takes him on the outside, and I literally jump out of my couch, and I'm like, let's go, Max, which I never thought would come out of my mouth, Sam, that I would be actively rooting for this man, because I pray for the downfall of Lando Norris all the time. But I was already amped up from that point, and then the safety car happened, and then everyone went to the pits except for McLaren, and at that point, I'm thinking to myself, either they did the smartest thing possible, or they completely just ruined their race, and it was the latter.
Dude, I thought it was like one of those moments when you get back from your test and you're like, you got B, right? And everybody else is like, no, we all got C. And you're just like, fuck.
It was at this moment we realized we fucked up.
Bro, because, like you said, Max gets P2. They go around the corner. Oscar stays out. That one's hard because it's like, do you go in? Because if you do go in on lap 7, you have to go to 32, and then that will get you to 52 or 57. Yep. But like you are committed to that 25 lap stints.
I don't fault Oscar for staying out. I fault the team for not bringing Lando in, because you at least have to split the strategy at that point. But they're like, nah, fuck it.
It's one of those things that if McLaren, if only half the grid stayed in and out, like if only Max went in and took the gamble, but the fact that everybody decided to take that gamble, which meant the rules changed at that point. And then all of a sudden, they're all lined up, ready to go. Oscar and Lando are leading, and they have to make up that pit stop because Piastri, Max won this race, right? And Max won this race.
Here we go again.
I'm getting my speech impediment back, man. It's really bad. It's the Millers.
This is gonna kill our career, Sam. I hope you know.
It's gonna kill me,
hates
Ryan.
us. Chad hates us because of this.
So Max wins this race, right? Oscar finished 8 seconds behind him. That pit stop costs 26 seconds, and I think maybe with the safety car, it saved him 10. So it cost him 16 seconds. Like, there's no reason for Max to have won this race at all. It's super hard to pass. If you could just be in front, I thought if we played it out normally, Max would have gotten in front of Lando, and then I even said it is going to come down to pit stop strategies. As long as he can keep his lead, and they made them work for their dinner, and it did not work out for either of the McLaren boys. And all roads lead to Abu Dhabi. We're going to Abu Dhabi for this championship, buddy.
Which I have so much to say about this, Sam. I mean, first off, McLaren was shell shocked. Oscar got second in this race, and he looked defeated. Lando, I think, is already hanging in the garage somewhere. And then you got Zach and Andrea. They are too stunned to even speak to the press immediately after. They have to regroup and figure out what happened. Like, that is insane for them to be at this point with one race to go. Like, it is crazy the situation we are now in. And I'm so happy we are, because despite my complaints this season, I said I wanted a competitive, I wanted a vicious, I wanted a ruthless season. I might not have gotten everything I wished for, but by God, we are getting a championship down to the wire at the last race of the season, and I will take that, because the last time this happened was literally 5 years ago in 2021. So, fine by me. You know, like you said, all roads lead to Abu Dhabi this season, and for this to be the last iteration of this car, what a good way to end it. So, I'm excited.
Yeah, for a season that kind of didn't have the spice, we're kind of getting the spice here. And the fact that this is at the end of the triple header, they are just fresh off of their disqualification. Like, they got disqualified on Sunday morning, Saturday night, went back to the press on Thursday, went straight into a qualifying session on Friday, race, qualifying, race on Sunday, and they're right back in the press here in 4 days on Thursday. And Karun and Crofty talked about, like, hey, is it a good thing that they're going right back to the race? They don't have time to really dwell on it. Karun said yes, like, they don't want to sit on it for more than a week. But I think with these two big blows to McLaren, it's going to play on them big time, Ryan. And I got my crystal ball out. I can see something here.
Okay.
Las Vegas was a aerodynamic problem, a car setup problem that got them disqualified, right?
Mm-hmm.
Qatar, tactical problem. Strategy problem. Abu Dhabi, engine problem.
I thought you were going to say driver problem.
It could be. Well, it could be. I'll take either one. I'll take either one. At this point.
I think, Sam, breaking news I just saw right now coming through the channel, Latifi is going to be on the track next weekend in Abu Dhabi.
Dude.
The only thing I do want to make light of here, Sam, real fast.
Okay.
Is the way that this season has come to this boiling point of a moment is so awesome. Mm-hmm. And it's so cool for Max. It really is. Max has done a great job. I do want to highlight, if he does not win this championship and he's within a certain amount of points that he could have had in Spain, that is going to be for me, a little bit of a blemish on this season for Max, that he got a little too hot-headed, because I was doing the math. At that point in the race back in Spain, whenever he decided to become a literal missile and crash into George and then get the time penalty, he ended up finishing 10th. He got 1 point out of it, but he was fighting for 4th. If he would have eventually finished that race in 4th place, Sam, he would only be 1 point behind Lando Norris right now going into next weekend. I just want to emphasize how important that turned out to be, him acting a little reckless in that moment. And it's just crazy that we talk about this time and time again on this podcast. I think everyone talks about this. Every point matters. Every race matters. Mm-hmm. And especially when McLaren plays it down sometimes, like, it doesn't matter now, it'll matter later. That's bullshit, because we're now talking about this, or at least I am, about something that happened back in, what was that, May? It's just crazy. It's crazy.
You're 100% right. It is definitely a blemish. It's a flaw that he has. If he doesn't have that many flaws, that's a flaw. It's his anger, and it got out at the wrong moment. And you're 100% right, because that's something he could control. And and I think Max won't even take it too seriously, honestly, and I don't think he'll learn from that lesson, because
I don't think so either.
No, because the points that he missed out on, he could attribute to Kimi running into him in Austria. That's a huge point haul too. we could your argument about Brazil, about him going on that pit stop and not trying to defend from Lando and Kimi, like that could be a solid points that he could have needed.
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
a couple things that could have gone a long way. Like and it is true. It's every point matters because now we're here and it's down to the nitty gritty. You're 100% right.
It is, and it's so. I love this sport and the fact that like we can now, after 23 races, we can look back and we could talk about pivotal moments and be like, if it went this way or went another way, we could be looking at a completely different title fight now. But you know, hindsight's 2020, and this is where we're at now. I was gonna say 50-50.
Yeah.
And this is where we're at now. And you know, it is a testament to how good of a driver he is that he's been able to close the gap to 12 points with one race left. I think he has a solid shot. I really do. I think Oscar has a chance too. There's going to need to be a miracle to happen for either of those boys.
Yes, and it's going to need to be Lando or Lando's car not working out, because if Lando gets podium, it's done, right?
Yes.
Here's the thing, Ryan. Like, and it's something that we say that's easy to do, and it really should be easy to do.
But today,
but last week,
yeah,
you know, disqualification. Today it didn't work out, and I would like to actually go into the nitty gritty of why it didn't work out for Lando specifically.
Okay.
But let's finish off this little segment with Max here. Like, I asked you last week, what is the chances of Lando winning the championship this weekend? And I think you said 70-30, something like that.
Something like that. I said it was pretty high odds. I really thought he had it.
And yeah, we're about to really delve into how much he should have had it this weekend, really.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are now going into Abu Dhabi? I'm going to say 50-50. I think it's a coin flip.
For are we talking just Lando?
Just Lando winning the championship.
I'm with you.
Or Lando losing the championship.
I'm with you. I think it's a coin flip. There's so much at stake now. There's so many things, and I think this weekend was a great example of how it could swing so quickly. Because Lando did really well in the sprint race. You know, he got 1 point more on Max. If he just did it one more time, Max is knocked out of the championship today, right? He just had to do that.
Outscored Max.
Yeah, but he couldn't. He almost finished fifth. If Kimi didn't go wide, he would have finished fifth, and it would be a 10-point gap,
which would have been crazy. Because then Max could have gotten first, and Lando getting third in Abu Dhabi, and that would have been a win for Max. Like, so.
Yes.
And if Lando gets third in Abu Dhabi, Max gets first. Whew,
going into this weekend, what I'm trying to say is, going into this weekend, I would have said it is very likely that both McLaren's end up on podium. Lando secures the championship, right? But seeing how they handled today, strategy-wise, car-wise, driver-wise, I don't know if that is necessarily as easy of a layup as I originally thought it was going into Abu Dhabi now. Because fucking Kimi was putting on a goddamn clinic against Lando for so long. You know, he had the one mistake, which was very upsetting, but for him being his age and to be driving the way he is against the championship contender, that was a flawless job by Kimi, and I really want to give props for that. So I do think it's going to be more of a challenge going into next week, because there's a lot of stake for everyone. Seats are on the line, millions of dollars on the line for teams. Everyone is going to have their elbows out. So it might not we might not see a double podium for McLaren. We could, but I think what I'm trying to say is I agree with you. It's a coin flip.
I think too, Ryan, because you leave Vegas, even let's say the disqualification didn't happen, right? Lando's leading by 50-ish points. You know, it's 2 race wins in a bag. Max is basically out of contention, right? Boom, loses 25 points. Okay, Lando's ahead of Max by 25 points. That's a race win or bin situation. It's perfectly fine. We can handle a little bit of the points haul. That's cut in half. Now it's not a 12. Like, you can't afford these things to happen. It happened. And we talked about last time that we were really impressed with Lando's mentality these last couple weekends. He's been a killer. He's been consistent.
I feel like it's gone now.
It's reared up. It really has. Because I want to talk about how we got into the situation here. Right out of nowhere, Oscar is on pace. He gets pole comfortably in split quality.
Finally wakes up. First time since August.
Says, "Oh yeah, I'm a driver again." The McLaren team hated that. Like that little video of them reacting to Oscar's pole is insane, dude. It's just crazy.
The favoritism.
Or Zach walking by him.
Horrible.
It's blatant. It really is. I texted you. I was like, "What's the odds that they do something to Oscar's, strat?" And if they're close, I don't know. I don't know if that's a little bit of a tinfoil hat theory. I don't know. But so we get here. Oscar's waking up. They get to the sprint. Lando outscores Max, brings that up to 25 points. He's doing really solid. He just needs one more point to get him out of the championship. And Lando screws up his pole lap. Okay, so that's nothing. That's okay. It's a small thing, but he did screw up his preparation lap. He did not get his final run in, and he looked faster than Oscar on qualifying day. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Screwed up. We had a little kerfuffle with Russell. You going? Am I going? Who knows? I screwed up turn 1 into turn 2. We're out of it, right? And then we get to the race start. He loses his position to Max. He just needs to stay ahead of Max to clear him out of the championship. That's the one thing he needs to do. Cannot get Max on the race start again 2 times in a row. Okay, Lando, all you need is solid fucking pace. You just need a solid pace. He's losing time to Max on the hard tires. He's losing time in the pit stop, and he barely got past Kimi because of Kimi's mistake. Not because of Lando's speed, but because of Kimi's mistake. Mm-hmm. These are 3 things that have hit him back to back to back. And now the pressure's on so much more for Abu Dhabi. He was in the interview after qualifying, and he was talking to the BBC news reporter, and they're like, "Oh, how are you going to bounce back from this? What do you think of the momentum, Lando?" And Lando, I thought very smartly said, "Hey, I don't believe in momentum. I never really did. I kind of took everything week by week. I'm just here in the moment," which is the right answer.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They're like, "Well, how are you going to keep your mindset like this?" He's like, "Well, I'm not going to listen to the press, right? I'm not going to listen to you guys." And then enter George Russell.
Yes, I knew you were going to talk about this.
George Russell comes in, taps him on the shoulder, different interview, and he goes, "Hey, I heard you said that I screwed up your your chance to get pole." And Lando goes, "Who the fuck told you that?" And he's like, "There's someone over there, the media guys." He's like, "If you would listen to them," he went off on him. And George was kidding. Or stirring the shit.
During that whole moment, George, when Lando was defending himself, would be like, "You would believe them." George also said, "It did sound like something that you would say." I know he's trying to fuck with Lando, but he's also being like, "You also would say that, buddy." And I have a new appreciation for George Russell this season. He's the villain that we need in Formula One. He is the necessary evil, and I am here for it with him. I do love that man. In some way. He stirs the pot in just such a beautiful way. Yeah, it's just great.
He is definitely a shit stirrer. And I think he meant wholeheartedly just to poke a little fun with Lando. Hey, we had that moment in that last lap. That was a little odd. I can't believe you told him this lie, kind of a thing. And Lando took it so seriously, man.
Dude, he got pissed.
And it was such a flip from being I'm going to be calm and cool and collected, and I'm not going to let the media rile me up. And he's like, tell me, take him to me right now,
Yep.
And so I think the pressure's getting to Lando a little bit. And
again,
this is great, Ryan. This is great because I think it really is getting to him. And I don't know if you heard what Max's interview was with Martin. He's like, "Hey,
I did.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling about Abu Dhabi?" And he's like, "Yeah, no stress. We'll get there when we get there." And honestly, Ryan, I believe it. I believe that Max is I think he cares, but I don't think he's stressed about it.
I think Max at this point, and he's said this. He's won 4 times in a row. There's no counting his discrediting his ability to win a championship. Yeah. He's one of the greatest ever. I'll say that with my chest out. It's true. He knows it. You know,
Max knows it. You told him.
Yeah, I told him. I called him up personally. I was like, Max, you're pretty badass.
Yeah. He's like, I proved it.
Yeah. He's like, I can finally live with a grateful universe. Whatever Thanos said.
Yeah.
So I think truly for him is like if he loses it, he's like, I had fun doing it. Like it was, we made it a lot closer than we were ever expecting. So I think for him, it's positives going into the new regulation, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has nothing to lose, everything to gain. So yeah, he's going in with it, just fucking having a jolly old time. Meanwhile, I think Oscar too, but more specifically Lando is probably ripping a pack of Newports every 3 minutes at this point. Just, dude, just the stress. There's no way he is sleeping well for the next 6 days. No way at all.
Well, you said it. You said like Max has said it. He said we're here because of the mistakes of others.
Yeah,
and that's 100% true. And and he recognizes that. So if he loses this, he's like, well, we were never supposed to win it. McLaren was supposed to wrap this up 3 races ago. Lando was supposed to wrap it up in Vegas. Like, I'm not supposed to be in the position I'm in. And if I'm going to be handed these cards, I'll play them. But I'm just glad to be here. You know?
It's crazy. He has 7. He is now tied with Oscar and Lando now on wins this season. And a lot of them are because McLaren just gave them to him. It's just wild to me.
That he is now P2. He hasn't been P2 since Japan. That's insane.
Crazy.
He is 12 points behind Lando, so he needs to win, and Lando needs to be off the podium. And he's 4 points above Piastri. So how does that work out? If it's 16 points, how much does Piastri need to win by? So this is really hard for Piastri. Piastri needs to win, and Lando needs to be below 5th. He has to be 6th. For Piastri to win this championship.
I think it's a possibility, Sam. After seeing the performance today, there is a sliver of hope there.
Even if Lando DNFs, Piastri has to be P2. That is Piastri has to be P2 with a Lando DNF, or Piastri has to be a P1 with a Lando P6.
I know I would say his odds of winning are lower than Max's. I will say that, but I do think that there is still the chance because I think Oscar has shown this weekend he's finally found his form a little bit, and I think he's going to carry that momentum into Abu Dhabi way more than Lando is. I think they're both hurting because of how McLaren fucked them both. Don't get me wrong, but Oscar on paper. Not only on paper, but on track, was the better driver this weekend, all in all, between the two drivers. So I think he's going to carry that forward into the final race.
If Max needs 12 points to beat Lando, right, and Lando DNFs, that means Max needs to be P4 or higher in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Ryan, if I'm Max, I'm going wheel to wheel with you in Abu Dhabi. Like, I am pushing you to the goddamn limit. And...
Okay, now here's the question, Sam. There. Okay, I don't doubt that with Max. I've seen him do it before to win his. Yeah, I have seen him do that shit before against Lewis in 2021. Like he will literally.
I want to bounce back on man. I want to challenge you that on a little bit because if we rewind to 2021 in Abu Dhabi, they were tied on points.
Yes,
if they both crashed, Max would have won on the countback.
Yes.
And Max was pretty respectful with Lewis. Like, I honestly thought in 2021, Max was just going to torpedo Lewis and be like, nah, I tried. I thought that's how he was going to do it. I really did.
I think,
but he didn't.
Look, I think looking back on it now and me having a lot more experience now watching F1 under my belt a little bit, I also think Max kind of understood the optics of the situation. And if he would have won the championship off of doing something like that, I think there would have been a lot of discredit to his name. There already is enough scrutiny with how that race ended and the integrity for that championship for him as it is. And that was out of his control. That was completely out of his control. He had nothing to do with that. If he torpedo bombed Lewis, we would have a completely different narrative on who Max is as a driver and as a champion than we do today. I think he even realized that. But I think now, with him being a 4-time champion, being a winner multiple times, I see the likelihood of him doing something like that now way more than in 2021. I think
it's less.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's less because I think that first championship mattered more because who knows what the next year would have been. It was new regulations then. So if to me, if by your logic, if he's not going to challenge Lewis because he doesn't want to besmirch his legacy, right? Basically, why would he besmirch his legacy for his 5th championship that he already has said on paper that he doesn't care if he loses or he's okay with losing? I hope he does. I personally, I hope he runs into Lando's tire and gets argy-bargy with him to get a DNF, and hopefully he works his way back up to P4. I think that's a very solid strategy that I would totally do in a video game.
Well, yeah.
So
okay, so Sam.
Yeah.
In 89 and 90, both in Japan, Senna and Prost crashed into each other to secure championships, okay? And they collided in 89, and then in 90 was the first corner, and that was in 89, Senna was disqualified after a collision, handing Prost the championship. And then in 1990, Senna deliberately crashed into Prost at the first corner to force them both out of the race, ensuring his championship. But they were already both drivers' champions before that season happened, Sam. So if we want to talk ruthlessness, they didn't give a fuck back then. I can see Max doing that now because the way that I'm looking at this is I think there's a difference in you already being a champion. You've already done this. If you just want to fucking stir the pot and just be the evil villain, I think you get a lot more. I think you get a lot more. Yep. I will say this, Sam. I wouldn't discredit Max at this point if he decided to do that this time around. I have a lot more, and I'm truly, as a person who hates Max, I still do. I respect him a lot more. I would not be upset with him if he did that.
Lando more.
I don't care who wins. I just need Lando to lose. But it's the truth though. Is I think I would give him a lot more grace now than I would have 5 years ago. So
respect.
Yeah,
all right, Max, you got the green light from me and Ryan. Go for it, Max. Go
Cooldown Rundown approves of this missile. But here's the thing, too, though, is if he does that, he has to make sure he doesn't ruin his own race or else he's fucked. Yeah. Exactly. So it's
very hard.
It's a very tricky situation, which I don't think he's ever going to do because he has to ensure that he can still drive his car. If he didn't have to, I full on believe in turn 1, we would see Max completely annihilate Lando. I really do.
Yuki, Hajar, Liam, you know what you need to do, boys. You know what you need to do.
Yuki too.
This is gonna
be Yuki's last race. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it will be. I'm trying to think. I don't know enough of car mechanic wise, but I'm wondering which team is a little bit more suited for the Abu Dhabi. From what I remember, from what I've heard, is that Vegas was more of a Red Bull suited track. Mm-hmm. The only reason that Lando got pole was because of the wet weather, and that Qatar was a way more McLaren track, and they should have won. They really should have.
They should have, and they screwed the pooch.
Yeah, I think Abu Dhabi is a little bit more who's better here. To me, it's a little bit more like a Texas Grand Prix kind of vibe to it. Long straights. It's not as flowing circles because there is some slowdown parts, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
There are some great places to overtake. At least,
and there is great places. There's there's the double DRS from the end of sector 1 into sector 2. You know, you get your DRS, and you can take them in the hairpin, but then you're exposed for the DRS to the next one, and then you can go wide if you want to. There's plenty of places to pass. Qatar, there really isn't much places to pass. So that's what Qatar is so interesting, is that if you were pole and you just held on to it, you most likely would have won. Yeah. And Lando missed out on pole, and he missed out on holding to P2, and then McLaren themselves fucked them both over by missing out on the free pit stop that everybody else took. Like, it's a big miss. It's a big miss. And I think Lando has, like we said, a coin flip, maybe a coin flip and a taint hair, maybe a coin flip and less than 9 millimeters of his plank wear worth of winning this championship, right? But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have told you so many times, I'm like, I need 2 miracles. I need 2 miracles for Max to stay in this. He's got them. I needed a miracle for Vegas. He got it. I needed a miracle for Qatar. He got it. How much more can I ask for? If they keep giving it to me, I'm going to keep asking. So, like,
give us
it's
another.
all on the line. I want another. I'm hungry. Give me more. Goo goo gaga. Like, you know,
greedy. You're greedy.
I'm very greedy. I'm very greedy. And the fact that it's like right here and it's tangible, I'm trying not to be mad about Kimi losing out to Oscar, to Lando. I'm really trying not to be mad about it, Ryan, because if Kimi held his position, Max could have won with P1, Lando in P3, and I think that could have been very, very manageable. I think Max getting P1 and Lando P4 or worse is a hard ask. I think it is a hard ask. But honestly, Max should not have been anywhere near the top 2. So I'm going to take the gift that I've been given and go for it. And honestly, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about Oscar, because in the vein of Max, it's very lucky that Oscar is still in this championship. He is very far off. How many points did I say? He's 16 points away from Lando.
16.
But because he's 16 points behind Lando, he still has a chance and he still has the right to fight for it. If Oscar was out of contention this weekend, I think the team would have had every right to ask Oscar to help his champion, to help Lando with his championship battles. But because he's still technically in it, I don't think they can ask him. I don't think Oscar will let them ask him. I don't think Mark Webber will ask him. So it is a 3-way fight. What are the chances of Oscar pulling this off? You know, what does he need?
I truly, of the 3 people fighting for this, I want it to be Oscar. I do. And unfortunately, he has the toughest hill to climb. There has to be a lot that happens. I think, realistically, we do need a Lando DNF, first off. Because I think otherwise, Lando's finishing P5 or better, probably.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I do. I agree with that.
So he needs the miracle now to even have a chance at this. So I really don't think at this point he really has the odds to win it. But we've seen crazier shit happen in Abu Dhabi. Something could happen that swings it in his direction. Maybe. I have a question though. This is a far-fetched one. This is far-fetched. Does Oscar fuck over Lando and to make sure Lando doesn't get a championship? Do you think that he would do that and let Max claim another just so Lando doesn't get one before him?
Well, like, give me a scenario. Like, how would that work out?
Crash into
for Oscar
Lando.
To fuck over Lando. Oh, I don't. No, I don't think Oscar.
Let's make it as simple as that. Let's just boil it down to something as simplistic as something like that, where it's a racing incident, you could say, because you're fighting for the championship. You have the right to fight.
I could see a world where Max is P1 and Oscar's P3 and Lando's P4, right? And as it's standing, Max is winning. Oscar's got no chance in the world, and Lando needs a pass. Does Oscar give that position to Lando? I think it's very tricky. And I don't know Oscar, and I haven't really followed him enough to really get into his zeitgeist. I'll tell you what I think and what I want. What I want is I want Oscar to take it to Lando. I want him to say, no, we fight on clear rules. On track, I get to do what I get to do. The team has really fucked me over in other ways and has done as much to help you out as they could. On track, you gotta take it from me, and I will be a little aggressive with you because I'm a little upset. I would love to see that, but I don't think that will happen with Oscar. I just don't, because I think he'll ruin his entire relationship with McLaren and Lando in his upcoming years, and I don't think it's worth it for Oscar to do that to get the neener on him a little bit. I don't see that happening. I would love to see it happen. It would be so much spice. It'd be so much drama. It would be great. I just don't see that happening. I could see Oscar relinquishing the position or something like that.
I agree with you. Unfortunately, I think if
this is lap 1, Oscar goes for it. Like Oscar fucks him over. If it's lap 50, Oscar pulls us.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's a great example too. I think there's completely different expectations at a certain points in the race.
Yeah.
But I do wish in some aspects we were alive to see the ruthlessness of what Formula One used to be. Like we are living in a very interesting time where it's not like that anymore. Like it's I still think there are some
feelings.
Yeah. I do think it's still cutthroat to a certain extent, but I think if we go back 30 years where if the same situation was presented to Prost and Senna, they would have shot each other on track just to fuck over the other person. Like that's how ruthless the sport used to be. Yeah. But I do agree with you. I do think that if the going gets tough and it's not looking in Oscar's favor and it's if it's late in the race, Oscar will concede to help Lando win. But like, that's got to be such a horrible feeling, like a pit in your stomach that you were there and you're letting your teammate go by.
Yeah, to win it. Yeah, to win, get all the flowers. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because like now that you think about it a little bit more, like, do you want to see your teammate just like celebrate next to you, and he gets full priority next year because he's the champion? Like, I'm starting to talk myself out of it a little.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I've said this whole season is as whoever. The whole thing right now with McLaren has been. I had to sit up for this. The whole thing with McLaren is they have ranted and raved at how they have 2 number 1 drivers, and you can have that as much as you want until you have a champion on your team.
Yep.
And then someone is going to be automatically relegated to number 2 forever. As long as they're on that team, you are relegated to number 2.
Let's face it, he kind of already is a little bit. Not blatantly, but a little bit.
Yeah, no, he already is. So if he gives it up to help Lando, he is essentially conceding that for the rest of his tenure at McLaren, or unless Lando leaves before him. I don't know what's the right decision there. I don't. Because I think if you concede it, you're basically saying next season, okay, I'm number 2, Lando's number 1, he has to defend for his championship, I will help him, and that's it. If you don't and you fuck him over, the fight to be the number 1 driver of the team is still alive. I think he does it. I think he does it.
I think he needs to have a conversation with Mark Webber. I think he needs to fuck Lando over so he doesn't get a championship and they're still on equal grounding for the rest of his contract. And then Oscar can go move to Ferrari or Audi or wherever the fuck he wants to go, or Red Bull.
Don't go to Ferrari. Don't go to Ferrari.
Yeah, I want to talk about it real quick here in a little bit. But like honestly, and like here's the thing, Ryan, and I think this is a little bit of part of Oscar's problem, and it's when you can't trust your team too much. Because let's say we get into this situation, right? Or even, we can even rewind to when Lando had to give the position back to Oscar in both Hungary and in Qatar. Last sprint way kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
His race engineer, who's supposed to be the guy that's on your back, who has has your back through it all. But this guy is paid for the McLaren team. He has the McLaren team's interest in heart. So like, who's whispering into your ear, giving you all the details and the information? So like, I don't think he's going to get the best during the heat of the moment. Like Oscar, think about what you want to do for your contract, right? Think about what you want to do for next year. It's about what do you do right now? And I think that's a small problem of having 2 number 1 drivers where there's plenty of problems with Red Bull and the way they design their championship bouts and the choosing behind one backed driver. But you can't deny it makes things a lot simpler. It makes things a lot simpler. And also Red Bull has the benefit of having a fucking monster of a devil in the car that can just do whatever and still drive that thing into championship contention. Exactly.
They found the gold mine with you know the meme of like the guy digging in the tunnel and it's like filled with diamonds.
Yes, diamonds.
That was Red Bull with Max. It really was.
The person turning away was Toto.
Yes, absolutely. It was Toto. But hey, maybe he found his guy with Kimi. Hopefully.
He might have found his guy with Max. I don't know if you saw. There's some footage of Max being a little chummy with Toto. He had a conversation. They took some pictures. Like he looked very happy. It was after the sprint race. I think Max is still on Toto's heart and his eyes. And then I want to talk a little bit about. We're steaming along on this podcast, Ryan, so we won't spend too much time with these guys. But speaking of Mercedes and speaking of Ferrari, how happy do you think Toto feels seeing Lewis leave him for a new hot chick in town with a red car and having the worst year of Lewis Hamilton's life, the worst year for Ferrari, because it has been since 1980 that it's been a year that Ferrari hasn't won a season, and Lewis Hamilton is having a bad season. And I'm telling you what, I'm tired of British bias being like, it's so sad to see Lewis having a hard time, and it is, but I'm not a journalist here. They are, and they should kind of like challenge him for being, because it is a shit car. I'm not going to deny it's a shit car. It's a shit team. It's a bad situation, but Lewis is consistently losing out to Leclerc. It's a bad season for both of them, and I kind of want to get your thoughts.
Fuck you. First off, the way you just shat all over my hopes and dreams and my team, and they're just like, I just want to get your thoughts. Sam, what thoughts, what hopes, what dreams do I have? There's nothing new. So, like, I mean, to be honest,
I just wanted to see if anything changed.
I mean, no, like, I told you last season I was sad and nervous about Carlos leaving and Lewis coming. Happy to have the GOAT. That's cool. But it has shown, and I will say it, it was a mistake. It was a mistake by Ferrari to let go of Carlos. Carlos, wow, throughout his entire career, has been just shafted by F1. He builds up a team.
Always the bridesmaid.
Then he gets kicked to the curb, and then he goes rebuilds a new team. Yep. He is a journeyman in Formula One, and he deserves way more than what he's been given. And I will say that with my chest out. He is too good to be treated the way he has been. And Ferrari fucked up by doing that. Now, would Carlos have won a race this season in a Ferrari? I don't think so. Charles hasn't even. Like, it is a hard... This car is a shitbox, and the team is just a disaster. It is on fire. They need to do the purge and just kill everyone on that team and find new people and reset the culture there. They really do. When it comes to Lewis, I do think, and this is, I can't say British bias because I'm not British, but I do feel for the man. It is a hard season, but you are right. Charles is still...
You're not a journalist either, so...
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that. Fuck being a journalist.
Fuck the bias.
You know,
technically, I have a degree in journalism.
Me too.
Hey,
look at us.
That's hilarious.
But for Lewis, there's a lot of different angles I can look at with this when it comes to him. I do think he jumped. It's so hard, Sam. It is so hard because I don't think Mercedes was treating him as well as they should have been.
Mercedes didn't want to give him a multi-year contract. That was the big one. Mercedes didn't want to give. They wanted to give him like a 1 year plus one. They wanted to string him along until Kimi got better, or Max opened up. That's what they wanted. And Lewis wanted years, and he wanted brand recognition. Yeah. And so he wanted stuff that Mercedes couldn't give him. So he went somewhere else. I don't fault him for that, but
I don't fault him for
Ferrari.
that. But I do think that he was tricked with a magic bag of beans. You know, he was. And he has now dealt with the situation that he has. And it's a horrible one. You know, and I will say, Charles being better than Lewis this season was not a surprise to me. Charles has been with Ferrari since the beginning of his career with Sauber and Alfa Romeo. You know, he's dealt with Ferrari his entire F1 career. He understands the ecosystem. He understands the car. He understands a lot more than what Lewis was able to do. So
he knows how to handle Brian, his engineer. You know, like he knows how to handle these problems.
Him having a shitter of a year compared to Charles was not a surprise. Him being as bad as he is I was not expecting.
Multiple Q1 exits. Yeah.
I don't think anyone was expecting that. So at this point, I hope to God next year is slightly better to where we don't see Lewis blow his brains out on track and just retire from Formula One, because he deserves better than that. He deserves better than what he is at right now. But it's hard to see that. It's hard to see what's going to happen. That the team is a dumpster fire. Ever since what is his name? The fucker that said shut up and drive. The president of Ferrari.
John Elkins.
Yeah. Since Elkin has said that, even Charles has been struggling. So, like, I don't know if he was trying to say that to, like, propagandize and cover his ass because he knew how bad the car was going to be at the final stretch of the season for whatever fucking reason. But it is atrocious. There is literally clips of the Ferrari car just getting absolutely decimated on track during the sprint race in the first lap. And Charles just being like, what the fuck is happening to my back tires? Like, what is happening in the back axle here, guys? And they have no explanation. It is comical. It is comical. And I don't know. I'm not even sad. I'm not even upset. I'm numb. I'm numb to the pain, man. I really am at this point. Like, fuck. What worse can it get? How worse can it get for me at this point?
I propped this question to you, and you started off by saying, "What's more to say, Sam?" As you go on a 5-minute tangent about.
Sorry. Well, I mean,
no, it's hilarious. No, but you're 100% right, because I think I'm with you. I think Lewis gets one more year for me in my book. He gets listen, this regulation has not been his bread and butter. It really hasn't.
Has
his
never
last
been.
time he was good was in 2021, which is a continuation of the 2014 to 2020 series. It was a continuation.
Yes.
So this 2022 and onwards was a new regulation, and he just never liked it. So it's a blemish on Lewis's track record. He's still the GOAT. Let's see what he can do with a new regulation. And but I will say, if he can't, I don't know what his contract's up to. I think it's just a multi-year. If he doesn't pull it off this next year, then it's time to get Behrman in there. It's time to get someone else. It's time for both of those guys to really move on.
And I think I think it's time for both Ferrari drivers to move on. I think Charles needs to find a new team, and I think Lewis just needs to finally accept, unfortunately, that he's not going to get that 8th title. And enjoy retirement, buddy. You've done enough. You have such a beautiful legacy in Formula One. Go do something else. Actually, find a girlfriend for once.
Settle down.
That's my rant. That's my rant.
That's a good rant. But Ryan, speaking of the replacement of Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton, Carlos had a really solid weekend. Again, I feel like I need to backtrack what I said last week when I started gassing him up, and then I looked at the point system and I was like, oh, never mind. Let's hold it back a little bit. But then again, Carlos Sainz got his 2nd podium of the year. Again, the highs are great for Carlos. I'd like to know how he now stands in your point system along with the real point system. Let's get into Ryan point system.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. I want to say, so we had scenarios where there was a possibility that Max could clinch the championship in my point system this weekend. Did not happen. So the title fight goes to Abu Dhabi too. But I can say, Sam, he firmly has both hands on the trophy. Like, it is going to be hard to surpass him in my point system. So let's get into it. But this time, I do want to actually start with the constructors.
Okay.
Let me see my screen.
I can see it.
All right. It's official. We have a 2nd place confirmed in the Drivers' Championship, Sam. No one else can surpass Mercedes. They secured P2 in the Drivers' Championship. So congratulations to them. So P1, P2, McLaren, Mercedes. The Mercedes engine showing dominance. As we go through the rest of the grid, Red Bull has a great opportunity to secure 3rd place next weekend. Right now, P3 is still Ferrari with 654. Just 8 points behind them, though, is Red Bull. P4 at 642, Sam. So there is a great chance that Red Bull can take that last spot on the podium for the Constructors' Championship. We'll have to wait and see. The rest of the grid stayed the same. 5 is Williams at 438. 6 is Haas at 407. 7 is Racing Bulls at 405. 2-point gap. We might see a flip there next weekend. We'll have to see. P8 is Aston Martin at 357. 9 is Kick at 327. And 10 is Alpine at 253. Now we look at the Drivers' Championship. And I can say Max basically has both hands on the trophy. He just needs to not DNF, essentially. So if we look at the Drivers' Championship, Max P1 at 439. Oscar moved back up to P2 at 426. We have a tie for third with George and Lando at P3 at 422 apiece, Sam. Very interested to see how Abu Dhabi shakes up to see where they go now. And it's crazy to say, like, in comparison to the real point system, Lando has 7 race wins. But if you look at an aggregated score week after week, they are tied. It is crazy. 4 through 7 stayed the same. Charles 4 at 343. 5 is Lewis at 311. 6 is Kimi at 279. And 7 is Alex at 229. Yuki moved up 2 positions to 8 at 213. Oliver dropped down 1 position to 9 at 211. Carlos had the best weekend. No surprise there with the podium. Moved up 3 positions to 10 at 209. Isaac, I fixed the name this time, dropped down 2 positions to 11 at 200 even. Fernando moved up 2 positions to 12 at 189. Esteban dropped down 1 position to 13 at 195. Nico, unfortunately, had the worst weekend, and not even his fault. He got fucked this race, but thanks to Pierre. He scored no points this weekend, so he dropped 3 positions to 14 at 190. 15 through 19 is the same. Liam at 15 at 181. Lance at 16 at 159. Pierre at 17 at 156. Gabrielle at 18 with 137. And Franco pulling up the rear still at 19 with 87 points. Maybe he cracks 90. We'll have to wait and see. That's the point system right now. So even to the wire, Sam, it is still competitive to the final race of the season. A lot more competitive than we were thinking just four or 5 races ago. So very excited about that.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
But yeah, there was a lot of movement in the back half of the grid, as we always expect with my point system. Some of the rookies were also thrown into that mix. What's going on over at Rookie Watch, Sam?
To be honest, Ryan, not fucking much. They did not do much, and I don't really blame the rookies. I blame the track, because honestly, not much has happened on this track. This is a longer podcast for us, but because the championship implications and McLaren's fuck-ups is what has caused this to be so interesting. But if it wasn't for that, we'd be scraping the barrel of what we'd be talking about. So
yeah.
Just to get into it, I will kind of break down what happened. We're going to see a lot of familiar names here. Instant qualifying, only 2 rookies beat their respective teammates. Behrman got P12, which is 3 places higher than his teammate Ocon. Yeah. Bortoleto got 13th, which is 1 place higher than Hulkenberg. The sprint race, Bortoleto 11th, 5 places higher than Hulkenberg.
Hey.
In quali, Behrman got P13, which is 4 places higher than his teammate Ocon. And in the race, Colapinto got 14th, 2 places higher than Gasly, and Kimi got P5, which is 1 place higher than George Russell. I need to look up one more thing because I think I did screw up a little bit. Yeah, because also Bortoleto got P13 in the race, and Hulkenberg did not finish because he crashed on lap 7. Which actually, I just now realized that Gasly was able to finish this race. I don't know if you knew that.
Yep. I don't know how either.
Yeah, he was the last of the finishers, but he made it work.
Which means he got points for my system.
Hey, points are points. I will talk about a couple things that happened. Hadjar got a puncture right at the end. We talked about if these 25 lap things was enough. Apparently, the track was a little rough on these tires, and Hadjar got a penalty, so he had to DNF. Behrman, I think, got unnecessarily a harsh penalty. I would like to know. I'm assuming this man has had a lot of harsh penalties this season. He got an unsafe release because I think they dropped the jack. They didn't have the tire on, so he was on his suspension. Something happened where he left, but his tire wasn't on, and he hit the ground. Okay, that ruined Behrman's race. It just did. So why is he getting a 10-second stop-go penalty, Ryan?
I think the FIA I think it's hazing. I think they're hazing one of the rookies, and it's been Behrman all season. He has been fucked multiple times with unnecessary, egregious penalties in my mind, and this was one of them. A 10-second stop go, insane to me.
It is either the car was fucked or the team just packed it up because he served his penalty and then he retired the next lap.
Well, I can say my buddy was here watching the race. I was making some coffee. He said, and when you listen to this, if I get this wrong, I apologize, buddy. He said he ran over something in the pit whenever he went to serve the penalty, fucked up the car, and they just brought him in and declared him to DNF, essentially, is what happened.
Let me see. Well, according to Scuderia Ferrari fans, because I don't think the actual race report is out for the actual race, but this says that Ferrari Junior Oliver Behrman loses a fortune in Qatar after Haas releases him still on the jack. So he may have done something on the way in, but the release was because his jack was still on. He got an unsafe release because of something his team did. So it's not his fault. It wasn't he didn't crash into anybody, didn't affect anybody else. The loser of it was Behrman. So the fact that he got a penalty for it should have been a fine for the team. That's what it should have been.
It should have been.
It seems very odd and unfortunate.
I do wish that F1 would kind of fix that. I think if a driver makes an error or they fuck up something, sure, give them the penalty. If it's the team's fault and it is completely out of control for the driver, fine them. Do something like that. Don't fuck up the driver's chances, because I think that's where the dichotomy of the sport it gets messy.
Yeah.
You
what's
kind
team,
of
what's personal,
yeah, and it is frustrating when shit like that happens to a great driver and just ruins his weekend. It's not his fault, but he's the one that has to deal with it, and it's a blemish on his fucking racing history, not the team.
Yep. I 100% agree, man. So this is gonna get us into our best and worst rookie, and honestly, it's a hard one. Dude, I was really tempted to put worst rookie as Kimi because
Sam, come on,
it wasn't his fault.
Come on,
honestly, he's gonna get best rookie.
Yes, thank you.
It's hard for me to say, but the journalist part of me is gonna say he got best rookie. He just outperformed Russell. That's kind of what's impressive about Kimi. The one thing he needs to work on is his consistency. But what's impressive about him is that he's able to beat Russell on a good day. And Russell, I like Russell. Russell's a good driver. And so the fact that he has pace and he's pretty decent, he showed it again today, getting P5, almost, P5. It's pretty solid.
And I just want to say, he put up a great fight against Lando. He made, unfortunately, a costly mistake that made him go wide, and Lando still squeaked by.
Twice.
But up until then, he was driving magnificently and just defending so well against Lando, and that's what really impressed me.
Well, let's a little bit. He did it twice because when the McLaren's had to go in for their first pit, and they came out, Piastri had to pass Kimi on track, which he did, which was a great move. Because I think Piastri
it was a beautiful move.
Piastri's like, I need to get shit done, and I think Piastri's a little bit half-assed a little bit these last couple of races to not get his nose dirty, and he realized that he no longer can afford that, and so he did a really good job there. And Lando couldn't get past Kimi. Lando almost didn't get past Kimi today, and I'm working third, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. Worst rookie, I'm just going to give it, this one's a little hard. Let me know if you think there should be another person. I'm going to give it to Colapinto, just because you're ass. It's fine. But it's really hard. It's really hard to blame him completely because the Alpines are ass, dude.
They are, but I mean, Pierre will have a sneaky, solid point haul every once in a while.
No. Let me look real quick because Pierre, I think, actually did pretty okay in qualifying. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did good. Pierre had a random good.
Franco threw all of his ussy into last season to be like, I'm a good driver.
Yes.
And we've gotten disappointment after disappointment this season.
It's definitely Colapinto because Colapinto got 20th in actual qualifying. Pierre got P9. He got it in. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if he saw, but at some point, Pierre told Lewis that the Ferraris looked rough.
Yes, I saw this. And he was like, no shit, Sherlock.
Imagine somebody driving an Alpine is dude, your car looks like ass. And I drive an Alpine. It's like me saying your car looked like ass and I was driving my Honda Fit. I'm like, Jesus, man, it's bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, but back in the day, I was also driving a minivan. It wasn't much better.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad. So yeah. Okay. So we'll go with Kimi, best rookie. Let me go and write this down because I think I need to go back through and record these later. And then worst rookie will be a Colapinto. So good job, everybody. And then honestly, the RBs didn't do too much. I know Hajar had his puncture. They're kind of. It's so hard to talk about the Alpines because I feel like there's a couple teams in the sport that I just don't care. I don't care about Kick because they're about to be Audi. I will care about them in the future. I just don't care about Kick this season. I really don't care about RB because they're a sister team. Like, they're not ever going to be better than that.
Yeah.
You could have said the same thing about Williams, but they're in a resurgence. So that's fun to at least talk about them. You could say that about Alpine, but they used to be good. So like, there's like, maybe we'll do this in a future podcast, but like, there's stages of like people who try for the mid team, people who don't care, and then people that are just trash. That's how I feel.
I mean, you can look at that in all sports, Sam, because there's just some teams that are just there they're not there to win. They're there to just collect money. They're there to collect money. That's all it is.
In this case, just lose it because they're definitely not making it.
Yeah. I will say the one thing I will say about Alpine that I do give them credit for, and it is the smallest, most irrelevant thing. I do think they have one of the best looking liveries on the grid, and the fact that it looks like a race car. Like, it looks like it belongs in like a racing sport, and I do appreciate how they designed that. It does not matter at all, and this is so irrelevant to everything else we've been talking about, but it's something to note, I think.
No, let's keep talking about things that are not relevant because I'm pretty sure, yes, for 2026, the F1 is mandating a new rule that a minimum of 55% of the surface area has to be collared. Thank Christ.
Thank God. We're getting rid of the carbon fiber, finally.
So all these teams have been saving weight by, instead of painting their car, they just use carbon fiber, the black carbon fiber.
It's so ugly.
Part of their design.
So
ugly. And it looks like shit. It really does. And so now that they are mandated to at least put some color on their car, we've been talking about this for years. I'm very excited for that. Anyways, Ryan, I've had a little bit too much to drink.
Me too.
And I think there has been some people out there at Qatar, maybe not drinking alcohol, but they've been drinking something, and they've been a little too tipsy. Who is, for the Qatar Grand Prix, our drunk driver, Ryan?
Well, Sam, I always hate the French.
Okay.
I think this time it has to be Pierre on his move on Nico. Yeah, honestly, I don't think there was too many instances of like egregious driving mistakes this weekend. I could be wrong. There's track limits, sure, but like watching the replay of him doing that, it's like okay, you're on the interstate and you're trying to like just you're next to another person. Okay, and you're just trying not to fuck up, and you just accidentally boop, and they wreck and die. That's essentially what Pierre did. So I think he deserves drunk driver of the day.
I will give it to you if you do not agree with my choice here. I have a feeling that you won't, just based off of the premise of it, but bear with me. I think the drunk driver should be McLaren.
Oh my God, this
bullshit. They were snoozing at the wheel, sipping too much tequila, thinking that they would be fine with the way they were doing things. And they were, listen, Lauren, they were like the lead car at the funeral procession, right? Going to the graveyard. And all the cars behind them turned right to get on the highway. They went, oh, I was supposed to go that way? They were drinking too much back there. They were not making clear decisions, and they should not have been behind that wheel. What is your thoughts on that, Ryan?
If
they were a driver, yes.
Well, no. If Pierre didn't pull the move he did, I would agree with you. But because Pierre made that move, I can't give that. I do think that's a credible one. I do. I'm not. Thank you. I'm conceding that much.
I was going to ask you to put that aside. Let me know what you thought. But I do agree. I think Pierre's a very solid choice. It really is.
Yeah. Before we get into our next one, Sam, our wonderful designated driver, I don't have the official results yet from last week. If you remember, last week, you said designated should be Max, and I threw out the options of Kimi and Charles. Now, the vote is still out there. We won't know for another 6 days, but I do have some early data, and so far
that will sway the voters. No, it's okay. Hit me.
And so far,
polls, guys.
Kimi is winning it.
Keep voting. Keep voting. Keep voting.
So okay. I just want to say, sometimes it's okay to be a little reckless.
Sometimes polls can be wrong. It's just a projection. There's still time. Get out and vote. I'll get you a button. I'll get you a sticker.
Vote for Kimi. Right. Vote for Kimi.
Vote for the GOAT, Max. But okay.
Since we are talking designated driver from last week, who was our designated driver for this week, Sam?
It's Max fucking Verstappen, dude. He did amazing. He pulled it off the line. He had a very clear drive. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of somebody else who did better or had a more consistent drive. I would have said Kimi, but he screwed up there at the end.
Yeah. The only person I could throw into the rain, and like it's more of a throw. Well, it's not a throwaway, but it's like, unfortunately, I look at our designated driver as like the F1 driver of the day, which almost turns into a popularity contest, which is annoying. Yeah. But
Carlos,
I was going to recommend Carlos. I think because he's in a Williams and he was in podium and he was able to do that despite having the damage to the floor, I thought he drove really good too.
You know what? I will go with you on Carlos. I don't know how it happened, but he somehow cleared both Mercedes. I know George got held up in the pit lane on Kimi. Like that's how one happened. I don't know how he got ahead of Kimi. I will say the funniest thing happened though with Carlos is he gets on the radio. He goes, "We have to push, right? We have to push to clear the gap from Lando, right?" 30 seconds later, I broke something wrong.
That's how delicate the Williams is.
But I agree. That was a solid. I will give you designated driver to Carlos Sainz.
Hey, let's go. I got Pierre and Carlos. Let's go for 3, baby. Who's our pissed off experienced driver?
To me, it's Piastri.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, was there a radio message I didn't get to hear? What?
It wasn't too aggressive. It was a little bit like they were on the radio and they go, Piastri, you need to go 1.1 seconds faster a lap to catch Max. And he goes, well, that's just perfect. That's awesome. Like he said something very nonchalant like that. Like that's not gonna happen. And the fact that he had to argue for what he was going to do, which was pit a little early to give him the time to go after Max, because it just wasn't going to work out the original plan. Like I like that gusto from Piastri. I like that he took it by the reins. Whereas little Lando needs help. Help me with these turns. I don't know where I'm losing time. Put tape on my wall. So I'm going on a Lando tangent. Put tape on my wall so I can fucking see where I need to park. Help me, Mom. Help me, Dad. Where do I need to go? You know?
Oh, we need to rebrand this podcast into the I Hate Lando Norris.
I was really on the Lando, like, I was like, there it is. We got it. Fuck it. We made, we're trimming this down. We're an hour and 16 into this pod. And I've been very nice to Lando these last couple races because he's been really good. But I'm like, there it is. That's the Lando I know. That's the motherfucker I don't like. He's right there. So Mad Dad, Oscar. That's who I think.
Oscar?
Yeah, Piastri. Oscar Piastri. Lando bitch ward gets Lando.
Okay.
Oscar gets Mad Dad.
Chad, I think I'm a little drunk because I thought you said Pierre.
Dude, I might have.
You might have. You might have.
I straight up might have. I might be drunk. We'll find it. We'll find it in the edit. We will find out tomorrow which name I said. But I might have said Pierre.
Okay, so your pick is Oscar though.
Piastri.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chat, you're right. Get a new host. I'll edit it. I'll be a producer.
My pick, Sam, and it's the only thing I picked up on the entire race was Charles. And the only reason I am saying Charles was because of how he was so nitpicky about George going over the line, which, hey, he was right about. He got 3 strikes for crossing the track line. But it was just so funny and so out of pocket that was a radio message that was pulled for us to listen to. That's my only pick that I can think of for pissed off experienced driver. But I'm okay to concede it for Piastri. That's fine by me.
Damn right you are. Damn right you are. Because you know Piastri and Lando both are mad at McLaren.
Oh, dude, they are absolutely furious. They're fuming.
Ryan, we are only 7 days away from the end of the 2026 season. An entire year of us doing this podcast.
Crazy.
This is one more to go. It's insane. It's finally picked up a little bit here at the end. Ever since the summer break, it's been pretty solid. I will say it's been a solid end to the season.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what I want to ask you for a prediction. Who do you think gets pole?
Pole. Ooh.
Pole.
Let's go with the hot hand, Sam. I'm saying Oscar Piastri gets pole.
God damn it, that's what I was gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna go with Max Verstappen. I think he's gonna tune that engine up. Yeah, that's what I think. But
all right, well, can't wait to talk to you about who our next F1 champion is in a week, buddy.
Oh my goodness, I'm scared. We'll see you there, buddy.